I'm Shauna Partlow, and I'm a teen relationship coach. And this video today is going to be just about that, okay? The talk, the sex talk. Oh my gosh, I know some parents, actually a lot of parents, freak out about that. And maybe you're thinking, well, you know what? My parents didn't have that talk with me, and I turned out pretty good. Well, hey, great for you, okay? I gotta tell you, I really don't remember my parents having that talk with me either. And I did end up pregnant in high school. So you're like, what? Not that I'm saying, okay, that just because you have the sex talk with your teen, that they're not gonna end up pregnant, that they're gonna just be these perfect little angels because you had that conversation with them. And now they're just, wonderful, okay? So I'm not even saying that, okay? And because teens will do what they want to do, right? Just like adults do what they want to do. So many times teenagers are like, well, you know what? You're not the boss of me. It doesn't matter what you say to me because I'm going to do what I want. And if I want to have sex with my boyfriend, then I will. If I'm going to have sex with my girl, then I will. And you also, you know, and I got to say this too. I don't know about your household, and I don't know about the way you grew up, or even that you see in society the different standard of what it is for the guy and what it is for the girl, okay? How many times is it that we're handing out condoms to our son? Hey, you better wrap it up, boy, because you got a girlfriend, and you know what? You kind of expect him to be having sex with his girl. Yeah, okay? But then on the other hand, we have like the girl, right? Aren't we kind of like, you better be having sex, right? You know, hey, you better keep that to yourself because here's that lock and I'm going to keep you under key. And if I found out that boy is touching you like that, then you know what? He's got some to pay. If she has a brother, oh yeah, you know, it is on, man, because if he's having sex with his sister and he breaks her heart, oh yeah, you know what? There is to pay, isn't there? So we have a huge double standard that's been, you know, ever since I can remember. So that's something that as parenting, okay, you can kind of think about those things. Do you have that double standard with your teens within your home? Because that's something that maybe you hadn't even realized that you have, because sometimes we do. And in the midst of this, okay, that sometimes we think that it's okay for our son to be having sex, but not our daughter. And sometimes people feel like, hey, you know, it's not a big deal. As long as she gets on birth control, then hey, it's good. You know, I don't need to worry about it. I just need to, you know, just go ahead, shoo. Let's not talk about that. You're going to just be on birth control from the moment you have your period, and we just let that take care of itself, okay? So at any given time you want to have sex, then hey, you're good. Okay, our sons, you say the same thing. Hey, you know what? You get of age, and then we're just going to keep condoms, just piled it up with condoms. Okay. Well, with those two, just those two things, because those are the two biggest things, right, that we give our teens, is putting on birth control for the girl and handing condoms to our sons. But in those two little things there, okay, hey, a lot can happen. You don't know how long a condom's been sitting out, just even in his wallet, right? The heat and friction actually breaks down that condom. In the store, how long it's been in a warehouse before it even got to Walmart, that right there has already broke down the condom. So, and if he's going to wrap it up, not putting more condoms on is not what's going to help you, okay? That's not going to help your son, and because I know some teenagers think that. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put 2 condoms on. I'm like, you know, first of all, good luck getting the first one on. And then much less you're going to get 2 condoms on. Yeah, good luck there, buddy. And most of the time, if they start off using condoms and then, you know what, then they stop using them. Because if you've used a condom before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, it's a pain. Right? Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and answer that for you because you know it is. Hey, and then you're trying to tell your teenage son to do the same thing, and you know, right? Yeah, is he really going to keep doing that? Probably not. The chances of him continuing to wrap it up is slimmer and slimmer all the time. So regardless if he's had this girlfriend or he's just, you know what, just a player and just out there sowing his oats, he's probably not going to wrap it up too often. So then if the girl is on birth control, she's on the pill, a lot of times, like I said, the parents, the mom will just take her to go do that. So many times with that, First of all, here's what I got to say. The pill does not protect you, okay, from a single sexually transmitted disease, all right? Condoms, it may help prevent, okay? But hey, it's not going to protect 100% from STDs, okay? So if they're having sex with someone infected, they can still contract an STD, okay? The chances are not 100% that they will not, all right? Because there's different parts of areas, that's not covered by the condom. So skin to skin if the person they're having sex with has an STD somewhere that the condom is not protecting, then they can still contract an STD, okay? So it's not because you're just wrapping it up and you're protecting them from STDs, because most of the time, teens aren't even thinking that, okay? Well, hey, I need to wear that condom because what if I get an STD? They're not thinking that way. I gotta tell you, they're not. They're just thinking, hey, okay, let's do it. Okay, I will. She's willing, I'm willing, let's go. Who has time to put a condom on? We don't. So they don't, okay? And just because she might be on birth control, like I said, she might be on the pill, okay? But that's not gonna protect her from a sexually transmitted disease. Not ever, ever, never, ever, ever, ever. Not even accidentally, almost, all right? So the only thing it may help prevent is some pregnancy, okay? And that's not even all the time. So, hey, I have 2 sisters that got pregnant on the pill. That's just in my little itty bitty teensy weensy world. So there are girls that can still get pregnant on that. And then here's another thing too, okay? That sometimes, we put them on the pill and then later on in their life, as they really do find the person that they want to spend the rest of their life with, and then they want to have babies, then guess what? Then a lot of times they can't, because they're not able to have children now, because maybe she'd been on birth control since she was 13, 14 years old. So then sometimes that can prevent her from having children. So, those are just some thoughts there. So when you're really thinking about, oh, well, I don't want to be a grandma, okay? Hey, I don't want to be a grandpa. But that still doesn't mean that what you're doing and putting them on these things, is just going to prevent that. So when and this is just a suggestion, okay, that you would teach your teenagers this. Hey, you know what? How about you not have sex until you're married? Okay? I know you're like, what? I'm not teaching that to them. Well, you know what? How about you just kind of speak it out a little bit? Hey, how about we're just not going to even go there until you're married? Okay? I got to tell you, that's going to make a huge difference in how they are when they're married. Okay? Because anybody can have sex, right? Right. Yeah, they can. Okay? So when you're just, just handing that stuff out and just having your teens just run around and do whatever they want, because they're teenagers, hey, they're only young once. You're right. They are only young once. Only young once. Only young once. So all that stuff that can happen because they're young once, they can take that into a marriage, right? Baggage. That's one of the things that people take into the marriage is all this baggage that because they were just young once, they did all these things and thought it was not a big deal. But now that they're married and they really want to spend the rest of their life with this one person, they have this baggage that now sometimes will haunt them for the rest of their life. But now, okay, how do I present this to this person? Okay, so whether they have an STD, whether they have a child, whether they've had abortions, whether now they can't get pregnant because they're infertile from birth control, or because they had an abortion that messed up their reproductive system. Okay, so that's just my suggestion, is that you just start talking to your teen about, hey, you know what? No sex until you're married. And then see what happens and see how they are. But when you have this conversation, you can't be like wishy-washy up and down. It's like, well, I know I said that, but okay, well, you just go ahead and whatever you want and whatever, makes you happy. Because remember, hey, I had that in the last video. Okay, you can just search that out. And if you're getting any value in this video, you can hit the like button, you can hit subscribe and turn those notifications on. And in that last video, you can search that out, okay? You can see about the happy trap and how we can tend to fall into that. And so easily, because we want to make our teens happy. It's not about happiness. It is not about happiness. It is about what is right for them. And you know what? They don't always know that step because, hey, looking back to my own life, you even think back to your own life. How was it that, wow, the things that you think like, wow, that was dumb. Man, I was stupid. Oh my gosh. And remember how you thought that, you knew everything and your parents didn't know nothing, and you're like, yeah, whatever, okay, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And then did some of those things come to bite you in the butt after the fact? Well, it did me, it did me. So, hey, I'm not saying, that I regret having my children, because I don't. But, in high school, yeah, I would have wanted to have not been in high school having a child. And I'm sure that's the same thing that you feel for your teenager. And even for yourself. Hey, if that was even you can put that in the chat. Yeah, that was me too. And I wish I would have waited. Because I do too. And I have to tell you, for myself, it was a one-time deal. I had sex one time and got pregnant with the condom. Okay? And I know some people are thinking, well, that was a long time ago. Well, seriously, if you can prove to me that condoms have improved that much, then hey, let me know, okay? Because from the studies that I have, no, they have not, okay? They are not protecting us, your teen, or even yourself like you think they are, all right? So that's why it's important for you, just a suggestion, just to be saying and just to be teaching your teens, hey, you know what? Let's just kind of hold off for the sex, just until you're married, okay? When they hear that from you, mom, dad, that makes a huge difference. It totally does. Because you're still, hey, even though it's sometimes a tight right there, the number one influence. And even, hey, let's just say, for instance, that you may not even be the number one influence. But the fact that you are an influence and you're saying it, that is going to be huge, okay? Because you either tell them, go have sex, put them on birth control, hand them condoms, or you don't. All right, there is no in between, but you need to have a conversation about it, okay? Not just hand it to them and be like, okay, nothing else. There's nothing else to see here. And act like you're just blinded to it, because you need to open your eyes and you need to get in the game and you need to just step it up and parent and start participating in your parenting, because your teen needs you. Okay, your teen needs you, and even though they've gotten older, but hey, I got to tell you, their brain is still not fully developed, and that rational decision making is actually what develops last. So your teen needs you, mom, dad, to be the rational decision helper in their life. Okay, and this is a huge topic on that. So when I was talking in the beginning about, oh my gosh, you kind of might be freaked out, scared, and nervous, and I don't want to have that talk until you just push out these condoms and birth control and you just, okay, it's no big deal. But something that will help you, okay, is just to kind of write some things down, okay, that maybe you'd want to say in a conversation with your teen about, okay, I'm going to have a talk with them about that. And we'll just kind of see how that goes. So if you want to do that, just write down some things that you would want to say. Write down some things that you would want the conversation to go, okay? How you would want it to go, topics you would want to discuss, all right? And now this is, hey, they may be 17, okay? And you feel like you want to have a conversation with them about it, then do. They might be 18, they're still in your home, okay? They haven't graduated yet. Have a conversation with them about it, okay? They might be 13 and they're asking you questions. Do not shy away from their questions, all right? Because hey, you want them to come to you with questions, okay? And you want to come and respond to them with answers. And if you don't know the answer, you say, hey, you know what? Give me a few days to think about some of these things that you've said, and I'm going to get back to you. And then do, okay? Because they're asking because they want an answer. Do not leave it up to Google for them to find their answers for sex, right? And not even that they find it on YouTube videos or a friend, okay? So do not do that, because you're their parent for a reason. So that's what you need to do. And that's part of parenting, not because we like it, because we don't. It's because it's what needs to do. It's what needs to be done. All right, there's many things that we have to do, not because we want to, not because we like it. It's because it's called we are adults and that's what we do. I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. I know the feeling. Because I had teenagers too, okay? And I was a teenager myself. And when nobody talked to me about that, you know what? And it's not, you don't have to be trashy and slut or any of those things, to get pregnant, all right? Because I was not those things. It doesn't mean that people didn't label me that later when I got pregnant. And I have to tell you, because you just think about this, because isn't this true? All those people that are calling you names, aren't they doing the same thing? Yeah, they were. So that's just how the mindset works. Oh, well, look at her. Oh my gosh, she is such a tramp. She's so trashy. Look at her. She got pregnant. And then they're having sex too. So you know what? The difference was I got caught. That was the only difference between the two of us, is I got caught. So that's the same thing. And I know you don't want your teen to get caught. So then I know that's why you put them on birth control and hand them condoms, because you don't want them to get caught. So, but just think about that, okay? Hey, let's just not even have that until you're married, okay? Because it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. It definitely will. I guarantee you that. And even though I do know some people are like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal, and I really, I turned out pretty good, and I was fine, and I really loved that person, and that's why I had sex with them, and my teen really loves them, and it's fine for them to just have sex with those people with who they love. But how many times were you in love as a teenager? How many times will your teen be in love before they actually, maybe get married, or maybe they won't ever get married? Do you just want them to be having all these partners after partners, because they're in love and because they really like that person? Because really, a lot of times I'm thinking, if you're really in love with that person, don't you want to spend the rest of your life with that person? Really have a life together and, build a family, build, a life, not just a sexual life. So yeah, just kind of think about that, the big picture, even for your teen. Because just because your teen thinks it's okay, sex before they're married, is it really? Just think about that, okay? I just want you to think about that. So, in the midst of all this conversation and what you're thinking and how you're talking with your teen about the subject, after you write some things down, set up a time that you would want to talk with your teen about this conversation, okay? And a good thing to do is either, have some food, have some snacks, have something for your hands to do even. Hey, take your little notebook that you had and write just when you've written out just a few little topics, have that handy, and ice cream, going for some ice cream, or just, sitting at your home and just saying, hey, you know what, I just would like for us to have a talk, and I know that I had put you on birth control, and, I've been giving you condoms. I just want you to know that I just think I need to talk to you about some of this stuff, okay? Because we haven't really talked about it, and I would just like to talk to you about it. And do you see how my tone is, okay? Do you hear how I'm sounding? Do you hear how the way I'm sounding, how that's making even you feel? Are you feeling a little bit calmer instead of, just a high anxiety? Because we set the tone and the mood of the conversation, okay? With how we sound to our teen. They pick up on that. If they get defensive when you're talking and saying things, just say, hey, you know what? You just need to, hey, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude. And if you felt that way, I got to tell you, that's not how I'm trying to come across. Okay? I just really want us to have a conversation about what's going on and what you're doing and how I feel about it. Okay? And then tell them, okay? When you do get that time, then you have this conversation, you talk to them about how you feel, and let them say the same thing, okay? Well, even if it's, well, I don't think it's a big deal, Mom, that we're having sex. Okay, well, it might not be, but what if you get pregnant? What if you get her pregnant? Because those are real what ifs, isn't it? Yeah. What if then later in your life that, wow, you know what? Because you've been on birth control for so long that you can't even have a child later on when you really do want to marry somebody. Like, wow, what if I never get to become a grandparent because I had you on birth control for so long? Hey, not that they can't adopt, right? Because they can. So they can, you can, however that works out. They can adopt, you can still become a grandparent. But those are just some things, okay? Just think about some of these things that I'm saying to you. I know it's a hard conversation. I know it's even hard to listen to this conversation and this talk because it's not always the popular thing to do, all right? But that's okay, all right? Because your teen is what matters. That's what matters, all right? So just think about this conversation. Think about the suggestion, okay? And just the same as me, I can give you this suggestion, give you this video, give you this information, but you, as mom, as dad, you decide what you're going to do with it. All right, just the same as your team is going to decide what they're going to do with it. You can give them the information all day long, baby, but what are they going to decide? All right, but then you don't have to think back and be like, wow, you know what? Wow, I really regret not ever saying something to my team. I regret not ever telling them. And now look at the mess that they're in because, man, I should have said something. No, it was hard and I didn't want that conversation. And man, I should have said it. Don't beat yourself up if your teen has an STD already, or they are pregnant, they are a mom, they are a dad. Don't beat yourself up about it, okay? Because you can start something new today. And hey, you got to forgive yourself. You definitely do. You have to forgive yourself and then move on and then put what you didn't do, put that behind you. And now what are you going to do? Put that in front of you, all right? So that's all I want to say today, okay? So I just want to say, again, hey, hit the like button and subscribe. And I would like to say thanks for watching, and I will definitely see you in the next video.